So the Packers defense came in yesterday and took care of business. Jaire shutting down Justin Jefferson. The Packers defense playing physical, playing with energy, playing aggressive, forcing 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery. And if we can see this defense going in next week against the Detroit Lions, if they can pull off that victory, this is a defense that I think can match up with any offense in the NFL, because the Vikings coming in were one of the better offenses in the NFL. We saw week 1 just how explosive they can be, with Justin Jefferson in week 1 having 9 receptions, 184 yards. But last night, the Packers defense held Justin Jefferson to only 1 reception, which was the worst in his entire career, for only 15 yards. So looking at this game, what changed from week 1 to this past week? I want to take a look at a quote from Rasul Douglas that I think gives some more insight into yesterday's game, and this quote is from a Packers News article written by Ryan Wood. It says this: "At the beginning of the week, Douglas said, Coach was like, Jaw, you want to follow him? You and Rasul talk it out. Whatever y'all want to do, I'm cool with." So basically, Joe Barry gives them the opportunity to decide what they want to do. Jaire told Rasul, he said that he wanted to follow him during the game. And that's much different than what we saw week 1. The Packers sitting back in zone coverage. Jaire wasn't following Justin Jefferson around the field. And after that game, Jaire made it clear that he was hoping to follow Justin Jefferson around the field in that game, but it wasn't part of Joe Barry's game plan. So coming into this week, clearly Joe Barry knew that he couldn't do what they did week 1. It didn't really seem to work, and he was willing to allow Jaire to man up on Justin Jefferson lots of the game and follow him, and it worked very well. And so when we look at this game, when we look at what Joe Barry was able to do, when we look at how physical, as I said, how much energy this defense was playing with, if this defense can do this going forward, I'm all for Joe Barry staying around, because a month ago, it was looking pretty bleak for this defense. They were consistently allowing teams to put up points on points on points, and I was saying that, I think next season the Packers should move on from Joe Barry because he hasn't been able to get the job done. But these past few weeks, with what I've been seeing, if we can keep this up, I'm all for Joe Barry sticking around, because the defense seemed to click last night. I think it started in the second half against the Miami Dolphins. We saw them playing, forcing turnovers, doing great things on defense, really locking guys up, and that's exactly what we saw last night. And so coming into this game, we have, of course, Jaire's comments about week 1 against Justin Jefferson being a fluke. And he definitely put a target on the Packers secondary, because when you say something like that, you have to come in and back it up, or people are going to let you know what you said. And Jaire did exactly that. I did not see this coming. I did not see a game with Justin Jefferson only having 1 reception for 15 yards. With the way he's dominated all season against some of the best defenses in the NFL, I did not see this coming. So props to Jaire for talking his talk and walking it out after the fact. And I want to take a look here at a quote, or at a stat from ESPN. This is from a ESPN article by Rob Demovsky. They say this: "On Sunday, Alexander lined up across from Jefferson 20 times, with no other Packers defender lining up across from Jefferson more than twice. According to NFL Next Gen stats, Alexander was on Jefferson on 65% of his routes, as opposed to 36% in week 1. So Jaire wasn't on him every single play, but basically 2/3 of his plays, as opposed to only 36% in week 1. And Jaire was able to lock him up. He had that one forcing completion in the first half, hits the gritty. It seemed that Jaire was getting in his head. He came in and played as one of the best corners in the NFL, which is what the Packers have paid him to do, and he came in and he did it last night. And if we look at this Packers defense over the past 4 weeks, they forced 12 turnovers in the past 4 games, 9 interceptions, 3 fumbles. They forced 3 interceptions against Tua, and then 3 interceptions against Kirk Cousins. And looking at this game, we were just locked on the receivers. We had that 1 pick six, Rasul Douglas playing tight end as man. He's basically the reason this happened. Forces the ball to pop up. Darnell Savage grabs it, has a nice 75-yard run back. And this defense is just playing together. They're playing with good communication. They're playing with the energy. They're playing with the physicality. And now I want to read a few different quotes from defensive players after this game to see what they were thinking. Adrian Amos said this: "We did a good job switching things up. It wasn't like we were just playing man. We were playing zone. We were just being sticky with what we had to do." Kenny Clark says, "That's the best way to cover guys. If you want to cover guys, get hits on the quarterback. Once we started getting after the quarterback and getting him uncomfortable, it started getting tougher to make those throws." So looking ahead to next week against the Detroit Lions, which I will be covering more throughout the week, but they are a very talented offense, a very explosive offense. They've been able to get it done. I think they put up 40 points this past week against the Bears. And so I'm hoping we can see the same defense we saw yesterday, because they played with a different energy than we've seen them playing with all season. I remember watching a 49ers game about a month ago. They're probably one of the best defenses in the NFL, and they just played with a different kind of physicality, a different kind of energy, just flying to the ball like crazy. And that's something that I feel like we haven't really seen a ton from the Packers defense this season, but it was on full display yesterday against the Minnesota Vikings. And going into the game, I was just hoping we could hold them to 20, 25 points, and hopefully the offense could put up a lot of points, because I honestly didn't see the shutout, or not a complete shutout, clearly. They put up 17 points, but majority of the game, it was only 3. The final 14 were against mostly backups. So pretty much holding the entire Vikings offense, the starters with the starters on defense, to only 3 points. I did not see that happening. So if this defense can do what we did yesterday, if we can do it against the Lions, this is a dangerous team, a dangerous defense that I think could face off and match up against any defense in the NFL, or any offense in the NFL. And right now, looking at how much confidence this defense is playing with, I think they could only get better, because they're just playing with a belief, with a energy and attitude that they can match up against anybody. And Jaire showed us just how good he was last night against the best, if not the best, wide receiver in football. So that's all I wanted to cover in this video. This Packers defense is playing insane right now. It's fun to watch. That was probably one of the most exciting Packers games to watch in a long time. Just the way that we came in there, started off hot, having that goal line stand, Keyshawn Nixon's return touchdown. It was just, it was a great way to start the year, January 1st. Packers undefeated in 2023, 1-0. So that's all I have for this video. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter for more Packers content, Luke_Beller. If you haven't subscribed, you want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more Packers content. That's all I have for today, and I'll see you guys next time.